Despite a recent economic slowdown, China has recently become the world's largest economy. Many factors account for the nation's extraordinary growth over the last 2 decades, but key among them is a heavy government backing of large businesses and support for privatization. But there has also been government support in unexpected places. The Tiehua industry, based largely out of Wuhu and Anhui Province, is one such place. Several major firms producing different types of Tiehua receive varying amounts of government assistance. Tiehua, literally translated from Mandarin, means iron painting. This unique art form was founded in Wuhu during the 17th century. Legend has it that a blacksmith asked a painter living next door to take him on as an apprentice. The painter rejected him, but the blacksmith persisted and produced his own paintings made of iron. Eventually, the two began working together and founded the art of Tiehua. Recently, however, China has begun to change radically in a way never seen before. In the last 2 decades, the economy has been drastically deregulated, and many nationalized businesses have been privatized. In February 2015, we received a grant from the Asian Network Freeman Foundation to see how the Tiehua industry was affected by this shift. The state-run factory now has to compete with many privately run Tiehua workshops and retailers. We wanted to find out how the old state factory and the new private businesses adapted to an emerging economy, and how the government behaves toward these businesses, new and old.
We left for Beijing. At the 798 Art Market, we tried to evaluate the socioeconomic status of Tiehua in the Beijing area. We did find examples of traditional sketching and painting, but it represented a small fraction of the market. Traditional metalworking also made some appearances in brass and bronze, but in no form similar to Tiehua. We talked to some passerbys in the market, but here, in the center of the Beijing art scene, no one had even heard of iron painting. The craft currently belongs to the older generations. In 1998, the state factory was restructured and new management was installed in order to adapt to the new market economy. This management proved catastrophic, and in 2002, the factory had to be restructured once more. Its complement of 600 workers fell to 80 to pursue other careers, but many began their own private businesses, creating and selling Tiehua. Master Chu is one of those workers. The government has designated her as the inheritor of the craft of Tiehua, which has recently been designated as the National Intangible Heritage. She is the caretaker of its cultural history and techniques. Master Chu has some of the finest and most unique pieces of Tiehua in existence. They come mostly from old masters of the state-run factory. The studio itself is courtesy of the Chinese government. Thanks to her status as inheritor, for the first 2 years here, she does not pay any rent. Appointed torchbearer of Tiehua, she receives many official or government contracts. Master Chu is one of 5 masters we met who worked on the famous welcoming tree piece in the Great Hall of the People. For now, the only condition the government asks is that they receive a discount on official art.
The reason I think that we need the 2 companies is because we want to diversify our marketing strategies. For my company, I really target in the high-end Tiehua pieces. Why my the nephew and also daughter's company try to focus more on popular the market. And I made this decision because I was also aware of the economic situation in China. Probably you have already seen Chinese economy really developed in the last 2 decades, but we also have a lot of challenges as well. And for generally, industrials, manufacturing encountered big challenges in the last 2 years, but it is a good opportunity for the cultural industry. This is actually, related to the President Xi Jinping's cultural policies. In the last year, the President Xi Jinping held a kind of, the big meetings talking about promoting the cultural industry in this country, and the Tiehua actually was one way to promote the state, soft power. So that's why now the culture business became an important thing, and also good opportunity for the culture business in our country.
Recognition, there are several problems facing Master Chu, which also affect other businesses in varying degrees. Because of her status, she is free to pursue her areas of interest, which are in traditional, large, custom-made pieces. But this also means that the average person cannot afford to buy one of her pieces. In addition, the practice of gift-giving between members of the Chinese bureaucracy, some would call it corruption, has been severely curtailed by Xi Jinping's recent crackdowns. Though this market may return as the political situation stabilizes, for the moment, a previously reliable source of buyers and income is unavailable. Affected the state-run factory, the seed of the current Tiehua industry. All prominent craftsmen and business owners in the industry began their careers here. Besides Master Chu, the other 4 masters still work there, but the steep decline in the workforce from 600 to fewer than 20 means that mass production of higher quality products is no longer possible. The factory currently serves mostly as a storehouse for the priceless works of Tiehua, made in the 1960s and 70s. Masters continue work on their custom items and official work, but at a much slower pace. While the government kept supporting a business that could not seem to survive, when other businesses could carry the cultural burden and the masters could simply relocate. We conducted an interview with a professor of history at Anhui Normal University. His view is that the government's focus is social stability above all else, hence the encouragement of new Tiehua businesses and direct funding in some cases. To put the masters out of work, even temporarily, could be politically dangerous. They are happy with their jobs at the moment. They receive a salary more than 700 times higher than when the market was fully state-owned. More importantly, the masters have much more creative freedom. They have been able to produce pieces with very unique subjects. While they may regret that many workers have been laid off, they believe that privatization has resulted in an overall increase in the quality of Tiehua. The prices have also increased as well. Mr. Chu have found their niche in the extreme high end of the new market. Though the state-owned factory masters aim for middle class, they have been reluctant to bring their prices down to a level that would open the market completely. There are 3 reasons for this. Firstly, the 20 workers at Wuhu Tiehua are working at capacity, so selling fast would require the masters to sacrifice quality for speed. Second, like all the new Tiehua businesses, they try to take very good care of their workers via high salaries and benefits. In this new, essentially unregulated market, intellectual property theft is a serious threat, and workers' skills are built up over decades of practice. To lose even a single worker to a competitor, along with his or her ideas, would be a heavy blow to the factory. This supports what is called the disciple system. Tiehua workers tend to follow the path of apprentices. There is no school to teach workers how to make Tiehua, only tradition. Workers naturally absorb the style and methods of their masters and become disciples, spreading their own unique methods of producing Tiehua. It's at the cutting edge of experimental art. His Tiehua is more sculpture-like and is selling much better than traditional painting-style art. Rather than outlining an image, the full subject is sculptured out of cold hammered and pressed iron. He is also among the most successful of the new Tiehua businesses, and is leading the charge in bringing together a co-op of Tiehua producers in a single industrial park.
这个他不是就是这讲的，你这一讲你翻译了，就把听得好难讲。其实这个事情发展的规律，它有它的行政过程，很正常的，但是现在并不是这样的，障碍大。
Is that I see the ups and the downs of this business all the time. I think actually now we have a promising future. I see for any kind of business you expect to see the ups and the downs. And in terms of opportunity, I would see, most of the people, probably see this kind of, it's a kind of the moment of the crisis, but I see that as opportunities. And with the new techniques, with the new tools, I would see a kind of promising future for the Tiehua business.
Prices and production are where they are at, is that there is a different conception of capitalism and competition in China, at least concerning traditional arts like these. Most of the Tiehua businesses are on the same street as Wuhu Tiehua, 4 are actually in the same building. Each business takes on a specific niche in the market, lower high-end pieces, handmade or mass-produced, traditional or experimental, and they focus on excelling within that niche. There is little desire for any horizontal monopoly. Master Chu used to produce and sell low-quality, higher quantity pieces. When government support allowed her to pursue her interest in high-end pieces, she put her nephew in charge of the lower-quality pieces and focused entirely on one segment of the market. Tiehua shops can attract consumers in a way that a lone shop could not. Most of the workers have experience from Wuhu Tiehua. This group of workers remain together due to those experiences and friendships. They do not see the Tiehua industry as a zero-sum game. There is a great faith that the Tiehua industry as a whole has a bright future. What makes this even more remarkable is the contrast between this worldview and the current situation of many businesses owners. Few, if any, have made significant profit. The artists and dealers who cater to the most diverse consumer demands, low or high-end, are the most successful. Those who focus on very narrow slices of the market can barely break even, and Wuhu Tiehua is on economic clearly survive. There is a great deal of culture and personal and economic investment in its survival. As a profitable industry, however, it is going through a rocky period. The art form is just breaking out into the wider world after 40 years of state monopoly, and it is adapting to the new situation. This will probably fail, or require assistance to stay afloat, just as Wuhu Tiehua did. But for those artists willing to strike while the iron is hot, the the future shows great potential, even if Tiehua must evolve into new styles in order to survive.